Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meeder's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meeder's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown, Dunkirk, and Westfield, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County.
The Chautauqua Cener.
Are you looking for affordable medical, dental, or counseling services? The Chautauqua Center is always accepting new patients at their Jamestown and Dunkirk locations. They offer discounted prescriptions and accept all insurances. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
And a sunrise it is. Good morning, everybody. I'm Doc Hamels, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. So glad you could join us. Hey, let's start out with a good morning to the whole world. We're streaming live, and as you know, we appreciate the fact that if you like the page while you're watching this streaming, let us know with a comment. I want to say good morning to John Carlton down in Florida. He's always out there. Sue Hammond over in Pennsylvania. We got people down in the Philippines. We have Burma. We got people in the Netherlands, all across New York State in the United States. So anyways, we're streaming live to the world. So good morning, everybody. Glad you could join us. We got a fun show in store for you. Trust me, it's going to be a lot of fun. I've been waiting for this show for months. I also want to say good afternoon to all of my listeners in Jamestown on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people. So glad you could join us. And again, we've got some folks here that are waiting to talk to you about some good things that go on in Ripley, New York. And for those of you that don't know, Ripley is part of New York. It has been for a long, long time. Most people think it's in Pennsylvania or Ohio, but we actually are from New York State. So stick around. We got a lot of fun things to talk about. Okay, also I want you to know that if you have an event, an anniversary, a birthday, perhaps any kind of event, or you just want to say, hi, I'm fine, living the great life during this pandemic, and you want to say hi, call us at 716-753-5225, and we'll put you on the air and announce whatever you want to announce, or just say hi. We want everybody to know that we care about you and that we're concerned that you're doing all right. So if you want to give a shout out to somebody, it's your show. Okay, it's live and we'll do it for you. Okay, finally the weather is breaking for the 15th time. I think we've had snow 11 times since winter was over. We think Justin's got to be somewhere around there. And we nothing new, but wow. But we have a weeping cherry bush and it is absolutely gorgeous. It's just like a big waterfall of white flowers. So I'm heartened to know that spring is here. more and more, and the goldfinches are back. I've noticed that. Okay, so we got a little treat for you today. I'm going to give Jeff the little cue that we're going to bring on my little partner at home. And for my guests that are watching, please don't laugh too loud. Okay, so as many of you know, we had Nancy and Brian Hunt here a couple months ago, a month or two ago. They're groomers, and I work with them from time to time. And during our pandemic time, we have to do some fun things. So we taught my dog, Brody, something new. And for those of you that are watching, maybe you'd like to do this with your dog as well. So Jeff, if you've got that tape, let's roll it.
Hi, Dad. Thanks for playing with me every day so I'm not bored. And thanks for keeping me all shiny so I'm not a hot mess. I love you and my mom.
That's Brody, folks. He's my little Tibetan Terrier partner in crime. Oh my God, I'm crying over. There's lots of similarities.
Sounds a lot alike.
You sound exact. Hi, Dad. Anyways, Nancy Hunt, thanks for sending me that. For dog lovers, I've seen so many funny videos on Facebook these days, and she sent me that the other day. I go, Brody. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, I have just 3 announcements today. Most people don't realize that normally I have about 11 pages, and I have all of 1 page today. So here we go. Slide 15, Fredonia Place. Okay, our good friend Mike Ferguson, he's the community development director out there. He wanted to let you all know that they're doing well, and he has a message, okay? It says, our core values include showing dignity and respect to our residents each day, the families who entrust us with their care, and the tremendous people we've assembled together to do all the above. We hope you are staying safe. We want you to know that we are here for you when you need us. From all of us at the Fredonia Place family, stay safe, stay home. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. And there's pictures of some of the residents and some of the staff, and I just wanted to share that with you. Fredonia Place has been one of our underwriters from day one, and that's a great message and a great pick. So Mike, thanks for sending that, and I hope you all up there in Fredonia Place are being well and safe. And I know I've been seeing reports, thanks Jeff, I know that we've had a lot of reports in the newspapers and so forth that many of our folks and residents in senior living situations are safe, and our numbers are looking really quite good. So whatever we're doing, folks, in Chautauqua County, keep up the good work. Wear your mask, stay home the best you can. Don't let up your guard. We're doing well as far as well can be. I mean, we've lost 3 people, I know that, and that's a shame, but we do have a great recovery record, and the hospitals, from what I'm told, are ready and primed if we need them, and they've got all the equipment and protective gear that they need. So let's stay tough. This is going to be a long haul. This isn't going away soon, so let's just keep doing what we're doing. Okay. Our friends at, where is this company? All right, let's do slide 16, okay, called Virtual Parenting Classes, okay, and this is from Prevention Works Group, and this is important because it's online stuff. The Teen Years is a program that will give parents confidence and courage to meet the today's challenges of their children's teen years. I do recall wanting to ship away a couple of my kids for at least 3 years, and there was nowhere to send them. The postage was too much, but we might have been able to use one of these online courses. Parents will learn about teens and technology, the internet and social networking sites, etc. The latest in teen drug use prevention, including prescription drugs, teen bullying, which is huge, and how to spot it and how to handle it. Special step family considerations, how the brain develops and affects teen behavior and decision making, improved discipline and communication, and updated teen sexual issues. So on the screen you see there's some contact information, but if you want more information or want to hook up with Prevention Works, give them a call at 664-3661. I think I read that right. Okay, so that's an opportunity while you're at home doing not too much. You can go do an online parent class. Okay, let's do our last slide. And I've been using this right along, and from our good friends up there in the Dunkirk area of the Salvation Army, Christina Ramirez, she wants you to know if you need food, please let them know. During this COVID crisis, the food pantry will deliver to your home, apartment, abode, whatever. How do you do it? In northern Chautauqua County, you call the Salvation Army at Dunkirk at 366-3701. Again, 366-3701 between the hours of 9 a.m. and noon. Their receptionist will sign you up with an approximate appointment time for the same day. They have volunteer drivers delivering at a variety of times throughout the day. Your appointment time will depend upon the next available slot, as well as food supply and food packing. Please be patient. Do not make contact with the driver. He or she will drop off food to your doorstep and ring your doorbell or knock. What a great service. Again, 366-3701. Don't go hungry. Don't get to the point where you're fearful to go to the supermarket. People will bring food to you. Okay? So there we have that. I'm going to take a little breather. We're going to be right back right after this. Stay tuned.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Oh, sure, talking cat. Brody, you still got my vote. Okay, folks, as many of you know, Chautauqua Sunrise is dedicated to basically one mission, and that's to talk about the great things, the good things, the cool things here in Chautauqua County. Well, I've tried to get my guests in here for a while, and it's taken a while, but they're bashful, believe it or not. And so I want to think about this a little bit. Barb and I like to travel, and many of you know that. And we've traveled to Europe and down into Mexico, down in the Caribbean, all over the United States, 49 states. And we might be in an airport. We might be sitting around in a hotel lobby or whatever. Say, by the way, where do you come from? And we say Ripley, New York. And then you got to explain that it's in Ripley, and it's in New York State, and it's near Buffalo. And so you kind of work it down to give them an idea of where they are. You usually have to start with Niagara Falls and work your way. So finally and they'll say, wait a minute. And they'll say, Ripley, Ripley, Ripley. And they'll go, there's a little restaurant in Ripley. I go, yes. And they go, I stopped there once. I go, yes. And did you have pie there? That's the place. And I can't remember the name, is it? And the name of it is Meeder's. And they go, yes. And so, seriously, I've been in Europe talking to people in airports, and they'll say, I have been to Meeder's. Well, folks, I have the owners of Meeder's today. We have Shelia and Bob Bentley, and welcome to the show.
Got us here finally, didn't you?
So I only got you here.
You worked hard at this.
I worked hard at this. I sent you messages for weeks. But that's really the truth. And this is probably over the course of 30 years, people know where Meeder's is. Meeder's sort of puts Ripley on the map in a funny kind of way, because it's sort of like a crossroads when you're traveling up through the Northeast and coming out of the Midwest. They got to come up Route 20, and of course they stop for dinner or whatever. So.
We hear it when we're traveling too.
Do you?
It's kind of fun when we hear it.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And I know you.
Do you know that place called Meeder's? Yeah, we know.
Sort of. Yeah, I spent a little time.
Spend about 16 hours a day there.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been the owners now of Meeder's?
Since 2016.
So about 4 years then.
Yep.
Well, I wouldn't have guessed it. I would have said a couple of years. It doesn't seem possible. So, Sheila, I know you've got some history, personal history with it through family, right? So how does that work?
Well, probably about almost 30 years ago, I worked for Trudy at Main Diner in Westfield. She was running Main Diner, and her husband Dale was running
Trudy
Meeder's.
ran Main Street, the diner in Westfield?
Yep.
I
They
did
had
not
two
know
restaurants.
That. I
Yep.
did not know that.
Yep, and she needed a server, so I came down for a little while and worked for her there. And then I ended up going over to Peek and Peek for 16 years, and then after that, I took a year or so off, and then I worked for Trudy ever since.
So
Yep.
what did you do at Peek and Peek?
I started out as a server in the coffee shop and ended up as the food and beverage manager. So, of the dining room.
A little jump.
Yep, a little bit, yeah. Yep, Mr. Cross was the owner, and he took Norbert,
Yeah.
took very good care of his employees, and he sent me to schooling, he sent me to classes, he he'd send me anywhere I wanted to educate myself, and I took advantage of it, and I learned a whole lot from him.
Now, you have a family connection to the Meeder line? Is that true?
Well, Trudy was my aunt. She's my mom's youngest sister.
Okay.
And then previously it was Andy Meeder
Mm-hmm.
owned it, and then Millie and Gladen took it over, and then their son Dale, which is Trudy's husband, took it over. And so he was running Meeder's, Trudy was running the main diner, and then Trudy went to Meeder's, and then they both ran it. And so it's still in the family, but it kind of just switched sides of the family.
So there was a connection to the Meeders to the Babcocks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Because Andy Meeder,
Mhm.
okay, explain that. Wait a minute.
Andy's daughter, Millie,
Yes,
married
yeah.
Gladen Babcock.
Okay.
And then
Gladen
their
was
son
Dale's
Dale
dad.
took it over, and from Dale, Trudy kind of took care of management and running the restaurant daily.
So
stuff.
Meeders for 60 years has really had a family
Yes.
pedigree.
Yep.
Right through, straight. And that's
All
pretty
straight in the
unusual.
family. Yeah.
It's a very good story there.
It's kind of went to. It seems like it's kind of went to the female side of every marriage, but it works.
And it's- and was
Yeah.
There's
successful
still
because of
lineage
that.
there. We still keep the lineage.
So Meeder's restaurant has been there for nearly 60 years, but it didn't start out as a restaurant, right? How did it start?
I think it was a gas station.
There's a
and,
gas station there and a convenience store, and yeah, that's.
You sold milk.
Andy went down and bought it. The story goes he went down to buy a washer and dryer, and ended up buying the restaurant and going in the restaurant business.
Oh, gosh.
And I can remember Andy from my high school days being
Uh-huh.
there. Same white aprons, and he was running it back then, and we were still in high school at that point. So.
And he made awesome ice cream cones.
And milkshakes from owners.
And milkshakes, yep.
So my understanding
Pies.
is that it was sort of like Al's place in Happy Days. It was the place where the teens
Yeah.
went for burgers and shakes,
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken. So when did it actually become a full-fledged restaurant, do you think? Do you have any idea?
I don't know that we know that. It was burgers and shakes and
Just-
Coca-Cola and that type of thing in the 60s and
station.
70s. And in the 70s, though, we would go down for fish fry. I remember the whole football team sitting down the middle of the restaurant on a Friday night once, as we went there before our game. And so in the 70s, it was full-fledged.
Okay. You know, I was thinking on when I was getting ready to come over here today, I thought, well, how many times have I eaten at Meeder's? Well, Barb and I have been married, believe it or not, almost 40 years now. And I figured if we ate there once a week,
Do the math.
Yeah.
it's like a couple thousand
Yeah.
times. And so,
What you don't know is your family eats there a lot without you. You do the rotary thing and all that, and they sneak
Yeah.
down there.
that's very true. It's all my fault that you have Tuesday night business.
That's probably only because we make the bread pudding just for that group.
That's what I understand. One of the things that I also was thinking about is that I did an article years ago in my Silver Magazine column, and I was talking about small town America. And as I've traveled around the United States, Barb and I go everywhere, we always like to stop in the small towns. And every small town is almost identical in some respects. There's usually a courthouse, or there's a park, a common area, and a diner. And the diner is probably, I would put it like number 3 in the list of important places to be. You got your school, churches, you put that in any order you want, and then the local diner. So am I right? So what is there about a diner? What goes on in a diner that's so important?
Oh, it's conversation, it's community, everybody gets together. Like, we just can't wait to open back up after all this pandemic and see our toast and coffee guys every morning. We have groups at 6 o'clock, and then we have groups at 8 o'clock, and we have groups later, and 3 o'clock in the afternoon they still come back for a cup of coffee just to.
So this is a regular
just have
schedule?
Some, yeah, just have
Really?
some conversation, and say they get to see each other, and
We
It's
kind of
really
hope
nice.
those groups miss us as much as we miss them.
yeah, we do miss them.
I mean, during the day we'll say, geez, we haven't seen Lou and Dorothy, or we haven't seen Ray in that group,
Or where's
It's-
Wally
you never
been?
know. Yeah, where's Wally today?
All right, so like if I show up like this, you'll know that it's me, right?
Yep, yeah.
We'll figure you out.
Yeah.
We've had some of our customers just stop in to say hi. Just say, we haven't been here in a while, how's everything going?
Yeah.
And just wanted to say hi. I'm like, you want a cup of coffee? No, I'm okay. I just, just stopped in to say.
Stay away from me.
Yep.
Don't breathe on my coffee.
Yeah.
So I remember when Jim Kuhn was the superintendent of school,
Wow.
and he would tell me, and when I was on the Board of Education like you were, and he would go to Meeder's every morning to get beat up. And I'd say, why do you keep going down?
John, he was an easy target. Come on,
Well, that's true.
Come on.
But he said he would sit there with the coffee guys, and they would just complain about everything, or they would tell him how he should be doing business. And I said, why do you do that? And he said, because I want to know what they're thinking. I want to hear from all sides. I don't want people just blowing smoke up my kilt. I
Yeah.
want people to tell me how they really feel, and they really do that.
Yeah.
But you go across America, that's where people hold court. That's where people exchange ideas, and that's been going on for centuries, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, we kind of describe it as the 6 o'clock group is the old Republicans that come in, and then at 7 o'clock you got the younger Republicans, and then
Yeah.
about 10 o'clock you get the California liberals coming in, and it really is that consistent with their political views and their opinions of what's going on in the town and stuff like that. And we join in with all the conversations. Sometimes you're trying to liven up the conversation.
Oh, I bet you
Some-
do.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just absorbing what they're talking about. Yeah.
Just turn on the TV for a minute. That's all
Yeah.
you gotta do.
Usually you've got it figured out. It isn't hard to light them up when you need to. We've known each other long
Well,
enough.
I know,
You
I
know
know.
exactly what I mean.
Oh, gosh, for sure. Okay, so before I forget, I do want to thank you guys for being underwriters to the show. You saw your ad in the beginning. I asked you guys to be underwriters early on.
How long did that decision take? About 3 seconds?
3 seconds.
Yeah.
because I think what we do here is it kind of fits what you do in Ripley. Is we're working with the community, we're working with people, we're trying to do good stuff for people. And Bob, I know you mentioned earlier, and you're very humble about this. I can't believe I just said those words, but
There ain't too many things you can say that about, John.
that's true. But Meeder's has always been there for the community, and that goes back, as far as I know, even during the Trudy Dale days. People need a gift certificate for their fundraiser. The wrestlers need something or other. Tell me about your thoughts on that as far as supporting the community.
Well, I think we realized when we bought it that Trudy had a reputation of supporting the community and supporting people in need. And I think it started out simply as if someone was walking down the street, when we first bought the restaurant, and they were, traveling across the country or hitchhiking or whatever.
Biking,
They'd get a free
yeah.
meal if they wanted it, if they didn't have the money or whatever. And we would do that without even thinking. And I think some of our staff was like, really? Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do this type of thing. But it's not just who we know, it's people we don't know that we welcome into this. We have a board that has a map of the United States on it.
You sure do.
And we pin where people are from, but around that board are thank you cards that we receive, and there's probably 60 or 80 of them there in the 4 years, and we started putting them up so that people would, one, know that they can ask, and we'll respond to it, and two, so that we could remember who we work with. And it goes over really well. People stop and read them, and it's nice. I mean, it's everything from the girls basketball team over here at Chautauqua to the wrestling team when they win, to people in need of a cancer fight. There was one group that came in and we donated 25 pies to them. They were customers that came every week, and we were part of that fundraising event for them. And they took 25 pies out, cut slices, sold them for $5 a pie, and had a little bit of money for it.
Yeah.
But that happens continuously. We actually donated to a group out of Warren, PA. We didn't even know them, but we knew someone that knew them, and they asked for pies. They auctioned them $150 a pie they sold them for.
That's right, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I'm sitting here going
Yeah,
like,
that's a-
$150 for
Yeah,
I know.
$150
For your pies?
So,
Yeah.
at 20, 22 bucks a pie, you're getting a bargain.
Handmade.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But we're very proud of it.
Let's
And
talk a little-
it will continue no matter what. But and it's an extension of what Trudy did.
Right.
And we just thought we'd notch it up and take it to a higher level. And I think we've done that. I think we've been successful at.
Nice. So in light of that, I understand where Shelia got into the business. She, worked her way up through. I know your background. Okay, we can't talk about it on the air, but I know you're a master carpenter. I mean, you're a craftsman. You're a tradesman. You were a farmer. You did a lot of things at a high level. I know this. How did you end up making pies at 4:30 in the morning or whatever?
I guess
That's
when
a
you
long story.
the pie one's a long story, but I think getting in full time with Sheila was just a moment in time that she looked at me and says, "I need you."
Ooh.
And we, because we wanted to take the restaurant where it hadn't been yet. Everything from recipes to the menu and the changes coming in it and the staffing. And at that moment, she says, "I need you here." And
Oh, you needed to work. It wasn't because it was
Yeah.
good looks.
no,
Oh,
she
I
just
misunderstood
She just
you.
needed someone to make pies for 8 hours a day. But
All right.
no, that came later. But it was just that moment that your wife looks at you and says,
I understand that.
I
Yeah.
need
you now.
I need you here.
Right.
And so we slowly closed the construction business down, and a lot longer than it should have taken, but bouncing back and forth, and eventually got to the point that I could be full-time with her. And that's a different situation, 16, 18 hours a day with your wife. You guys go out there and try it. See how it works.
What are you talking about? We're all doing it right now.
Yeah, you're retired. It's different.
No. You got to understand. I'm retired. Barb's retired, but she was going out during the day.
Yeah.
I stay at my end of the house. She stays at. No, I'm just.
But
kidding.
it's been good. We enjoy working together. We enjoy the relationship, and we really enjoy the people. Whether it's the people that deliver food, and whether it's the delivery guy or the salespeople, you develop relationships with everybody, and it's a customer base. Whether you're a brand new customer, walk through, we'll break bread with you, and those long-term relationships have to start somewhere.
Who's in Gulf Breeze, Florida?
Gulf Breeze, John Carlton.
John Carlton.
John Carlton. Good morning. He just checked in on Facebook.
Oh, did he?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I don't make this stuff up. I got these messages right here.
He's supposed to be 28 miles out fishing. What do you mean?
Okay, so let's continue back with your background. So you work with wood and concrete and all this stuff. So who taught you to make pie?
My mom.
Huh?
My mom did.
Mama.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, I've come in and
Have you ever watched Seinfeld?
yeah,
Did you ever see the Soup Nazi show?
yeah.
Yeah, well, the pie Nazi taught me, and I say that in a very nice way. Yeah, I got my hands slapped for too much sugar, or too much flour or something, or rolling them too thick or rolling them too thin. I got scolded a few times, but about 6 months we got through it.
You 6 months.
Yeah, it was quite a crash course.
So Meeder's has been known for their pie. I mean,
Yep.
that's their milkshakes and
That's
pie.
their calling, yep.
But it's definitely the pie thing. So where do we know where the pie thing came from? I mean, was that Meeder's, Annie Meeder?
I
or
think-
Trudy probably.
I think it was before Trudy, but
There
a
were some
couple.
ladies that made pies before Trudy.
Okay. It's been a long line.
Mrs. Waterman, and she
Ann.
made pies.
Karen Smith made pies.
Karen
Yes,
Smith
yep.
made pies. Who's the little white-haired lady that was there?
Wing? No.
No. Yeah,
Anyway.
there's 2 or 3 of them that range, but really, Trudy took it over for a number of years, and then at a certain point, her sister Norma came in and started making them. I think Norma made them, Sheila's mom, for 5 years, 6 years.
Quite a while, yeah. Trudy couldn't do it anymore, so then my mom took it over.
Okay.
And yeah, she made them for a long time. She made a lot of unique cakes and all these different desserts. Everybody loved them. They're like, "Where's Norma? We need some more cake."
Yeah, we still haven't got the dessert thing. I think we
Yeah.
got the pies. We have more types of pies than they've ever had. We do a lot of blending of fruit now.
And we get a lot of suggestions from our customers. They'll say, "Why don't you try this?" or apple elderberry, or something peach
So at
blueberry.
this point in
took off.
time-
Yeah.
We had a couple
Yeah.
there from Wisconsin. They said, "You ever make a apple red raspberry?" And I said, "No, I've never heard of it." Well, the next day they came in. There was an apple red raspberry for them, and that's
It's
one
really
of our
taken off.
staples now. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a crazy berry. That's 4 different types of berries.
Yeah, I saw that on the
triple
menus the other
berry, black and blueberry. There's all kinds of combinations that we have now.
Sure. Fruit. People love pie. Here's a story. I can tell this because my mom passed away some time ago. But for every birthday, she'd make this beautiful cake. Well, cake's okay. I mean, I'm not offending anybody that likes cake, but I love pie. And so years later, after Barbara and I got married, Barbara would make me a pie or something like that. And her mother was an unbelievable pie maker, unbelievable. And so my mom caught wind of this, and she said, "What do you mean? I make you cake. I go, well, Ma, I really like pie. And she said, well, I don't make pies. So every year after that, she, store-bought apple pie or something for my birthday, plus a cake. So, but I never met a pie I didn't like.
With that being said, about your mom, and I'm sure that was handed to the family, a lot of the things we're doing now was handed from my family, my Grandma Henderson, Grandma Bentley, my mom, and her mom, and
Grandma Sibby.
Grandma
Yep.
Sibby, and I think we've really excelled on those types of approaches. That these family recipes, we're going farther and farther than they ever did before with them. That's one thing we have done since we bought the restaurant, is now we have for everything we cook, there's a recipe book. We make something new, there's a recipe for it. And as we tweak that recipe over, sometimes it takes 6-8 weeks before we get something where we like it and we start getting the feedback. But a lot of this stuff is coming from our grandparents and moms.
Isn't that great? The tradition of cooking, and that brings people together, and it's home cooking.
It's what Meeder's been about since the beginning, is that home style cooking. And some of what we did was banquet functions. We could really come up with new ideas and stuff that our grandmothers and mothers handed us. And so that's where we started kind of experimenting. Do you like this? The chicken and biscuits, this and that. So we have 2 types of chicken biscuits now, and we have a banquet version. And there's a lot of pride in that. My mom was a great cook. My grandmother's was. Grandma Sibby, she was making homemade bread.
Sibby Shields, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
She was making homemade bread. The whole neighborhood, the word spread through the neighborhood. Everybody showed up for a loaf of homemade bread.
You could smell it.
At my house, I do most of the cooking. My wife will admit that, so that's not a secret. I love to cook, and I think sometimes it's almost a lost art. And I'm not trying to insult anybody here right now, but I watch these advertisements for whatever the company is. You get a box and they mail it to you, and all the ingredients in there. I'm going like, you gotta be
Hey,
kidding me.
our kids are participating in that. That hurts. That hurts.
I can't believe it. I mean, I suppose if you live a lifestyle and you're not near a local grocer and yada yada yada, I can come up with lots of excuses for people. But I mean, the art of cooking to me, I'm like in my Zen moment when I'm cooking, and the dog is next to me and I'm flipping him a little something,
And who handed that to you? Your mom? Your grandmoms?
No.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
All right, here's the story. It wasn't necessarily my mom.
You see how now I'm interviewing you?
That's okay. That's what I told you about the show. It's a give and take. My dad was a great cook because he came from a long line of cooks. My grandfather was a waiter cook. My grandmother was a waitress cook, and my grandmother on my mother's side was a great cook. She taught me all the Italian stuff. So when I go to restaurants, I say, oh.
Why don't you bring those recipes down? We'll see what we can do.
Okay. So you've taken pie actually to another level, though, at Meeder's, right?
We believe we have.
Yeah.
We've changed our container. We now sell a frozen pie.
There you go.
And
Take and bake.
it's a tremendous hit, especially as we'll talk later about what's happened in our country and the world right now. Last week we sold 80 frozen pies.
What?
And that's something that just started in August, and we figured it'd be 2 to 3 years before it developed into something. But
80 pies frozen.
Easter week. But we were never a big Easter pie place.
What's the most
Thanksgiving,
popular pie you
Mother's
sell?
Day.
It varies. It's really strange because it changes on seasons, but I would say apple, blackberry are probably the 2, and crazy berry are the 2 most fruits. But coconut definitely is in the lead for the most popular cream pie, yeah.
We printed labels for our frozen pies, and I'll tell you right now, we ran out of apple first, then blackberry, then cherry.
Ooh, cherry.
Obviously, we don't sell the cream pies frozen, but
I wouldn't have known that. I don't know.
Yeah.
bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
Those were the first 3 sets of labels we ran out
But you
of.
still can buy a piece of pie separate, right?
Yes.
Buy
And
the piece
you can
and-
order a pie and order it baked. Just give us a day's notice or something, and we'll bake it for you.
That's a
Yeah.
6-year tradition. You can buy a baked pie. The frozen pies are something new. We're actually shipping 4 pies, 2 to Pittsburgh and 2 to different places in North Carolina next week.
You're shipping
Frozen ones.
Frozen. How do you?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to ask you. Open the door. How do you ship a frozen pie?
Well, first thing you do is freeze it.
Thank you. I got checked.
I just want to catch you up on the whole thing.
Thank you for that. All right.
We actually make a styrofoam container,
All right.
2 inches of styrofoam, pack it in dry ice, and ship it.
Good, great.
We've done it a few times, but I think it's
People must really
developing.
like your pie.
A guy called just yesterday, ordered it for Greensboro, North Carolina, said, I had your pie a year ago and I haven't got over it. Will you please send
I
me
have
a
a
cherry
new
pie?"
respect for your pie making skills.
Yep.
Bob. You're shipping pies.
And you know, the funny thing is about that time we changed to a combination of sweet and sour cherries,
Okay.
something that I seen online, and I said, well, we're going to try it. And the first piece of pie we sold, the customer who's a neighbor to Meeder's came back, found me and said, what did you do? That's the best pie you've ever made here. You know, her opinion of that cherry pie.
Well, when they say, what did you do? You're like, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Where's this going?
I know that feeling.
My
I
butt
got done
came-
with my TV show and I have Bob Bentley on there. So you do a lot of experimenting with pies. That's
Yeah,
great.
we
do,
are
yeah.
shipping them now.
That's unbelievable.
It's to my opinion, it's rather expensive because of the container cost, but everybody seems to be able to.
I understand shipping lobsters, but I don't understand. Well, that's great. Good for you. Good for you.
Yep.
It's working.
Good. So, for those who are listening right now, they say, "What's the big deal about making a pie?" What's the big deal about making a pie?
There is no big deal.
What do you got to do to make a pie?
I don't know. You get 10,000 of them under your belt, and you're good to go.
Have you made 10,000 pies?
I have.
No kidding.
We take a daily average, and
Trudy made like
It's about-
170,000 or something
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that. I
it was
remember seeing
crazy,
that.
yeah.
190.
Oh, you're just
Yeah.
a kid yet
It was
then.
crazy
number. Yeah,
numbers,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm just a rookie.
Because I've stopped in, you know, when you were going to bike ride with me, and you're like flour from head to toe, but you're rolling out.
They actually say I'm the worst they've ever had of spreading flour around. People, if you walk
I
by,
would believe that.
If you
Yeah.
walk by, you're in the danger zone.
I gotta wear one of those face masks just to breathe in there. No, all kidding aside, I see you rolling out the dough and you're flipping it into the pans and filling it, and this is all fresh fruit, right?
Yep,
You know,
all
and the
fresh
funny thing is the recipe we use passed through the restaurant, and then we have like my mom's recipe and her grandma's recipe and different things like that. But they're also similar. But there is a couple things that we wouldn't tell people that we do. There's
You
ingredient
can tell me.
wise.
I won't tell anyone. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. Well, Sean,
We're
it's like this.
only streaming live in the world here.
No, there are things that are unique to our pies.
Well, good for
And
you.
Yeah.
It's funny because people will walk around the corner and say, "Why is it so flaky? What are you doing?" And sometimes I share it. I really do.
Have you seen that Geico commercial where he goes up to the house with cookies and the guy says, "Oh, a little bit of nutmeg," and the guy says, Geico says, "It's a family secret recipe," and he keeps challenging. He says, "I told you it was a secret recipe."
There's
good
a
commercials.
couple things that are really unique about what we do.
So speaking of pie, you've got new pie, a whole brand new kind of pie, because of COVID.
Oh, yes, we do.
See?
Wow, you got me on that
Gotcha,
one.
it made you think.
Made me think.
So
Yep.
I would not have associated Meeders with this kind of pie.
okay,
So let's talk about
there's
that.
a history to that.
I'm ready.
6 fantastic kids grew up in our house. And all of their friends grew up in our house, it seems like. Some of them very close to
Some
us.
of your kids, one of your kids grew up in my house.
That
Yes,
too.
yeah.
And I think we've seen some of yours at our house. But it goes like this. Friday and Saturday nights, pizza night at our house. Whoever showed. And Sheila makes a fantastic pizza, right from scratch. And it's always been that good. And a reputation with that group of kids, you know, pizza at the Bentleys. And so that's long before we owned the restaurant. And
Yeah, that's when the kids were little.
you know, we were doing things with their
Well, when you have
friends.
6 kids, you got to think of things
Yeah.
that's stretched pretty good.
So when this whole pandemic hit, we found out in a hurry that the types of foods we do don't necessarily go out the door as well as we would hope they would.
They don't travel well.
Yeah, mashed potatoes and gravy. Now we're separating the gravy and putting it in a container, so we're trying to adapt to it, and I think every restaurant is.
Yeah, soup and chili. I mean, things are hard to handle, you know.
So we bought us a pizza oven and stone bottom, fresh dough, and we're in the pizza business, pizza pie business.
Pizza
for
pie.
ya. Pizza pie.
So what's the stone thing? What's that all about?
Well, it's different than an impinger oven where they run them through and they travel on a steel belt and they get cooked. There's nothing wrong with that version, but we wanted something a little bit different.
Almost
And,
artisan
in
a way.
Yeah, you know, a lot of diners, drive-ins, and dives in our nights at home, and you see pizzas out of Chicago and New York, and they don't have to be perfectly round. They can have all types of toppings on them, and we're just developing in the specialty pizzas. Today's special is actually taco pizza. We've done a few of them, but we're doing more. Probably the biggest specialty pizza we have right now is cheeseburger. That's a family recipe there.
That was our kids' creation.
All of our, the kids had a big hand in that
Yeah.
one night. Let's have cheeseburgers. No, let's have cheeseburgers and pizza. No, let's just
Throw it all together.
Yep.
grew into something. All of our pizzas get 5 different cheeses on them. We don't just do the
5
mozzarella.
kinds of cheese.
5 times cheese.
All right, mozzarella, Parmesan,
Romano,
Provolone.
Romano,
Cheddar.
cheddar,
cheddar,
Yep. you put
provolone.
cheddar.
provolone. Well,
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yep, everyone we use a blend, and
Cheddar.
we don't want to do the out the door franchised pizza type look. We want something, and the pizzas do look that way. You check the Facebook out for Meeders, and they look unique. They look like something a little bit different.
Not round.
What else?
Not
No.
square.
No,
Right.
no, they
They're-
don't
they're
have
a
to
combination.
be. They don't have to be. You know, you slide them in there and pull them out, and
But we cut our round pizza, our fairly round pizza, we cut them in square pieces,
Okay.
just to be.
no
and-
triangles.
Yeah.
No triangles.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the way most people like it. Anyways, a
Signature
little bit of-
moment. Yeah.
Okay.
We stood there. I'll tell you probably the best stories. We started out making them, and in the second day at noon we had 5 pizzas ordered, and we're all thrilled. You know, the staff and everybody's putting them together, and we're pulling them out, and we send them all out, and we tell everybody. We actually gave them away for the first week, and we said, all we're asking is feedback. The one guy says, "Man, the sauce is great, and toppings there's plenty on there, and we was really happy, but could you buy yourself a pizza cutter? We forgot to cut the pizzas." Oh well.
I
It's
guess
like
I've never gotten
everybody's
a
looking at you like, "Oh wow, we really did forget to cut the pizzas." All 5 of the first 5 went out
Great
uncut.
story. So who's the pizza master there? You?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's.
I took from her what she did. I mean,
Okay.
somebody had to do the nuts and bolts, not.
So while
The
he's
design.
making pies and pizza, what do you do?
I make the cream pies, and I make the soups. We make everything homemade, so gravies, it's all
Oh,
pretty
from scratch.
time-consuming, yep. And sometimes I cook, sometimes I'm doing book work, it's just whatever needs to be done that day.
Right, because I've
Sometimes I
seen
serve.
you all over the
Yeah,
place.
yep.
So how many
Just whatever
staff?
needs to be
how many
done.
staff do you? In a normal year, when you're up full speed, what's your
24.
24. Wow.
Yep.
Okay, and that's dishwasher all the way up
Dishwashers,
to the pizza
cleaners,
maker.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, hang on a second, folks. You're watching Chautauqua Sunrise, and my guest today, and we're having a lively discussion about food, is Bob and Shelia Bentley from Meeder's Restaurant. And if you have a question or comment, you want to say, well, that pizza was okay, but you could have put more anchovies on there, give us a call at 716-753-5225.
You're encouraging criticism?
Feedback.
You told me
You're
you'd
right,
get me.
said
You told me
feedback.
you'd get me
No,
today.
no. Feedback. You said didn't you say
Yes,
you want
you did.
feedback?
You did.
I'm
Yes,
just
you're right.
helping you out here. People are funny. Like you mentioned all those different cities, Chicago pizza, Manhattan pizza, whatever. People regionally like their pizza a certain way, it seems, Barb and I have this ongoing battle. She likes this cracker pizza, which is like a
the
Ritz
thin crust,
cracker.
yeah.
And I'm half Sicilian. Pizza was bread,
Yep.
about an inch thick, with stuff on it, and it could be whatever was in season. I had aunts that would make beets greens and hard-boiled eggs and bacon or whatever was there. You got thrown on because it wasn't a set formula. It was whatever you
Whatever,
had
yeah.
for the day.
I think the big thing with this local market is the sauce. One of our salesmen told us, "Oh, this area loves a sweet sauce. Got to be a sweet sauce." Well, we did a survey before we actually started doing it, and we didn't find that out. We found out that you can have too sweet of a sauce.
Yeah.
So our sauce is made in-house from scratch. We took a few days before we even started and played around with different different sauces, different tomatoes, different, everything we could do, and we came up with a sauce that is very unique to us. It's right in the middle. We weren't looking to be super sweet. We certainly didn't, want it to be bitey. And I think we hit it. I think we get a lot of comments on the sauce.
Good. So when you took over Meeders, and I'll throw this to both of you, what was your vision for Meeders? You said you wanted to do something a little different. Trudy had run it for X amount of years. It was home cooking. It was a local diner. But I think you had a little different look at it. So help me with that.
Yeah, I think from my background from Peak and Peak, which was a totally different kind of clientele than
Somewhat,
Meeders.
yeah, I can see that.
I mean, there's some, but, so we wanted just to take some of the entrees and just like spruce them up a little bit and, make sure that the presentation was really nice and everything's consistent. I guess that's the most important thing to us, that every single recipe is consistent, and that's why we did the recipe book. So if we are not there, then somebody, like one of our prep cooks could pick up and make the same thing that we just made. So it's, it's the same every single time they come. But I think we've taken our entrees to a new level.
So what's
the
your best
presentation
seller
and-
these days? Up till recently.
It's all seasonal.
All right, well-
Roast beef is a big seller. Roast beef is huge.
You get your chili and your soups when
Yeah.
we're open. They're not moving now, but
Yeah, our homemade soups, we have so many customers that come in and bring recipes for soup, and I'm like, sure, I'll try it. I'd love to make soup. And we've tried so many different ones. They'll bring dessert recipes in.
I could swim in your
Yeah.
broccoli cheese soup.
Yeah.
No, I could.
That's good,
I
yeah.
could live there.
Yeah.
and, some of those things we tweaked a little, and some of them are as close as we could get to the original recipes as we took over. The chili, as much as I wanted to put my second place chili on there, we I never got permission.
I guess one of the things that we took
it's
and ran
original
with,
chili.
was the chili, and then pastas. We've introduced pastas, which Meeders would do spaghetti.
Yeah.
But that's about as far as it went. But the other day we did some Asiago cheese gnocchi, and I'm like, I don't know if this is going to sell or not, but we
Spell
threw it
gnocchi.
out there.
Yeah.
I know how to spell it because I looked it up.
G-N-O-C-H-I.
Nope, Gnocci.
That was
I had to
close.
look it up. I looked it up to
Closer
make sure
than
I
you
put it on
were.
Facebook.
I was going to spell it totally different.
But anyway, I thought, well, I don't know. People are going to be like, what are you doing? But we sold quite a few, and they loved it. It was a really good sell.
I think one of the things that happens.
So what is gnocchi? Wait a minute.
It's
I'm
a-
not gonna let
it's
you
a
off the
pasta.
hook here.
It's like a
And
pasta
you travel
filling.
the world.
It's like a little ravioli, but it's not
Yeah.
quite like it's like a
Yep.
little knot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I hate that.
Throw them up in the air. And, yep.
Well, that brings up our tour of Sicily on Thursday nights.
What was that?
Tour of Sicily on Thursday nights.
I've had it. It's
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah. And right now we're not doing it because of pandemic, but
Right.
it's been very popular. You can share it. You can come in and you get 3 choices, and it's a great plate. We've had 4 different homemade sauces
All
now.
right, hold on, pasta. We have a phone caller. Ready?
Okay.
Okay, good morning, caller.
Good morning, Doc, and good morning to your wonderful guest from Meeders. I want you to know I love your restaurant. I've been going there for years and years.
This is Linda
Thank you.
Spalding,
Linda-
right?
This is Linda Spalding.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, Linda.
Good morning. It's so good to see you on the show.
Wait a minute, are you
have-
talking about me or Bob? Which
We know who she's talking about, John.
But I really, you have terrific food. Everybody raves about it. And your pies. Oh, my goodness, your homemade pies.
And Linda, you don't
Thank
live in
you.
Ripley, right?
No, but I go to Ripley.
She commutes.
Yeah.
Right.
That's great. Thank you very
What's your
much.
favorite?
thank you.
What's your favorite pie or dish there, Lynn?
Oh, gee, I love your lemon pie.
Oh, Barb too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love your coconut cream pie.
Oh, moving right
Okay,
up.
we gotta get you into the fruit pies.
and I love your meatloaf
Oh, yeah.
Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's
with mashed potatoes and gravy.
that's one of the old time recipes. That never changed when we took over.
When Randy comes, our crew here, that's when he comes for lunch. He always orders your
Meatloaf,
meatloaf.
yeah.
Yeah, not everybody makes a good meatloaf, but you make
No.
a wonderful meatloaf.
Thank you.
Something we've realized is that there's a whole generation that don't understand the type of food we make. They think lunch comes in a cardboard box and they hand it to you through a window. And that's one of our goals, was to expand into that group, the Gen X, Gen Ys, the millenniums. You know, we do really well with the baby boomers, and I'm going to guess you might be one of those.
Hey, hey, hey!
Well, I have to tell you, I'm kind of a cross between a baby boomer and a war baby.
You were right on the edge, huh?
Right at the end. And you have a pretty good steak, strip steak. Do you still have that?
Thank you. That's one of the things we did. We introduced
working on,
some new steaks, and we've actually talked to our suppliers about introducing once we reopen. We need to talk about that later too, John, when we reopen. But
Okay.
we're introducing a new line of steaks during this year. Now we'll see how the current events affect that, but we're on board to open up in June with a new menu with 3 or 4 steaks on it. We'd like to develop a reputation of the place to come and have a really nice steak at a reasonable price.
Yeah. Oh, everything is delicious, and your scrambled eggs and bacon. I can't stop.
Hey, we got to take a break and have breakfast.
My mouth is watering here.
Well, anyway, I have the senior employment program.
Right.
If ever you need a worker, let me know. I'm with the Chautauqua County Office for the Aging. I am getting people lined up for whenever we can start seeing people again. People are definitely in need of workers, and my participants are anxious to get going again. And the number to call.
Here comes.
All right, now the number there is 753-4471. That's the main line, but right now I've been working from home, so call my direct line at the office. I'll get it right away. It's 753-4856.
Got it. Okay. All right, super.
Hey, John, before we lose Linda, we do participate in their yellow ticket program for seniors.
Yes, you do. Yes.
Yeah.
And I know that's
Your
quite
dining
limited.
out project, yes.
That's quite limited right now, but we are seeing a lot of the yellow ticket program come in. It went a little slow last month when things first changed, but I think it's picked up a lot with people realizing they can use their yellow tickets. And you know, that's again back to what we talked about earlier in the show about supporting the community, about supporting different groups. And I know sometimes you struggle with the restaurants participating in the yellow program ticket, but we're not going to drop it. We're going
No, we think it's wonderful.
Oh,
Yes.
it is
Yeah.
wonderful.
And I think part of it is seeing that group of people. We've talked a lot about our parents and grandparents, and the people using those tickets, you know, are part of that group.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah,
good.
it's great. Becky Bloom is the one that started that project with the Office for the Aging.
Super.
Dining out program. It's terrific.
All right.
Well, you guys stopped over and got a great big stack of them just this week, so.
All right, Lynn. Well, you take care.
Thank you for calling.
Okay, and thank you. I'll be seeing you soon. And,
We hope so.
And stay well.
Okay,
Yep.
terrific. Okay, I just got this in from Norm Green. He has been watching the show, and he wants us to know that the Salvation Army in Jamestown is working with folks as well with a food pantry. And the number there is 664-4108. Again, 664-4108. Don't go hungry. All right, so we've been talking about, we're going to talk about. So let's talk about what's going on during this pandemic right now. It's all restaurants and so many businesses are on hold right now, but you've been able to morph a little bit. And so what's going on?
Well, I guess change is a good thing. It was kind of crashed through the front door, I guess, when this all happened and it hit. And
Hit fast.
to the extent of it, but we had to be flexible. We had to be in a situation that we could adapt. We are delivery or carry out. We have started delivery service now. Carry out is a different world with the type of food we do, and we're slowly learning that some of the more popular items are chicken fingers and fries, and we do that. And, you know, we're adapting to it. The pizza, the specialty pizzas will be coming one a week from here on out until we have 5 or 6 of them. But I think probably the biggest thing that we're doing is we're planning on a grand opening at some point when this ends, or when it starts up again. And we've been painting, cleaning, changing our prep rooms, adding lighting, moving tables. The place has been scrubbed.
Get into the things you always wanted to get to,
Yeah.
where you're too busy making pie.
Absolutely. It was either sit there in our rocking chairs and and get lazy, that's happened a little bit,
Sure.
or dig in, and the staff that is working through this with us has been fantastic about jumping in, and whether it's a paintbrush or a scrub brush, whatever they can do. We had a few people that either didn't qualify for unemployment, and we've kept them, or couldn't apply, or didn't want to, and we've kept them on limited hours. I mean, they're making a sacrifice. What we haven't mentioned is a lot of our employees will, when they do retire, if they will be at Meeders longer than we'll ever own it.
Yeah, we have a few.
Sure.
We got Liz and Trish that have been there
Oh, gosh,
about
yes.
30 years.
Sure.
I think Liz has been there 40 years.
Wow.
And we've got new staff members in the kitchen that are great people, working hard. So our concern was as much about them as our customers. You kind of take a back seat to all of this. I think all restaurants are this way.
Yeah.
You start appreciating your employees more than ever, and you try to make sure their lives don't fall apart.
Yeah.
Even at the sacrifice of your own sometimes.
So again, getting back to that community thing, we're all in this together, and the
Yep.
people that eat at your restaurant are locals, the people that work at your restaurant are locals. We all see each other, work together, pray together, the kids go to school together, all that stuff.
We're going to have a brand new look when everybody walks through the door, though.
Okay.
It's going to surprise people.
All right, hold that thought. I got another announcement that just came in. That's how we do things here. Okay, for those of you that are interested, the Lakeshore Center for the Arts is closed right now, but they have a mini photo show that's being posted every Wednesday on the Lakeshore Center for the Arts Facebook page. So if you want to check that out, there you go. So we've got about 2.5 minutes left. I know that seems hard to believe. See and hear you were concerned about the time and filling things in. So you.
Yeah, so spending an hour with you takes me back.
So do I have a motion to
School board.
Yeah.
School board meetings at 3 in the morning. Time.
Oh, yeah.
Slam the gavel. This is over.
Get us out of here. So,
Speaking of Jim Coon,
Sheila, what do you envision now for Meeders, let's say 5 years out from now? How would it look different?
I think we're just going to continue to grow, and our business will grow. We are advertising in some different areas now to try to attract a new crowd, to get people introduced to Meeders. And we have people that come from Cleveland and just take a day and drive up for lunch because it's a nice day to drive, and that's what we want to encourage. I just think that the more we work on it and the more ideas we get, and we just take everybody's ideas, put them together, and good things all happen from it.
Well,
Yeah.
and with that Gateway project, if that ever goes through,
Yes.
that could be, you'll be a destination spot, right?
Yes, yep.
So how awesome would that be?
And that's what Ripley used to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
know,
Marriage
yeah.
capital of the world at
Yep.
one point.
I
The
think
first
that's-
town in New York, and everybody got off to get gas and go
Yeah.
have something to eat. And
I think a destination spot for Meeders is what a
Yes,
good
yep.
description of where we want to be someday. We're advertising on TV now, radio. We don't do a lot of print advertising, but Facebook is phenomenal. The other day, we ran a contest, and we got to touch on something else real quick too.
Quick, too.
Yeah, I
We got a
know.
minute.
But we ran a contest and had over 11,000 shares of it.
Wow.
yeah, that was
But-
really impressive.
But
Yeah.
let's touch on this
Yeah.
because I don't want to miss this. We are running a gift card program right now. We're giving gift cards away. We're giving pizzas away. We're doing different things on different days. We've had almost $3,000 donated to us to buy gift cards.
Wonderful.
A particular individual who's a customer, he's in Florida right now. He does not want to be recognized for it. He donated. And then ConnectGen, which is the solar company coming into South Ripley, they donated the lion's share of that $3,000.
Nice.
And we're buying gift cards. We're actually sending them out in backpack programs next week.
Through the school.
We went to the little slide-through cards that can be regenerated. And we're going to do that twice. And that's going to go with the backpack program. And then the rest of the money we're using different types of contests given away, and we want to thank them for that. Both of them, the individual and ConnectGen, Isaac and Colleen have been great people to work with. They're really supporting our community. They want to be involved in it. They bought all the food for a picnic for the school.
We run out of time.
Uh-oh, come on, John, I can talk another hour.
Sheila, real quick, what's your phone number there?
736-7381.
Well, thank you for joining us
Yep.
today.
Thank
and
you.
folks, I hope you had some fun with us going back in time about Meeder's Restaurant in Ripley and the history, the mission, and all the good discussion on cooking And Bob and Sheila, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah,
We're going to do
thank
this
you.
all again next Saturday right here. Chautauqua Sunrise on Access Chautauqua on channel 1301. So please continue to watch us streaming. We're going to post this later on Facebook. So give us feedback, let us know, and check out your local diners, including Meeder's. You take care, and we're going to get through this pandemic one way or the other with pie.
Thank
Bye
you.
now. Take care.
Thanks.
You know, we did run a thing on the